So you've got the defending champions, India, riding this incredible winning streak. They walk into their first Super 8s match as the hands-down favorites. But what happened next? Well, it was a demolition. A stunning defeat that absolutely nobody saw coming. So how did a team that looked unbeatable get so completely outplayed? Let's break it all down.
76. Let that number sink in for a second. That was the final margin. 76 runs. You know, in a T20 match, that's not just a loss. That is an absolute hammering. It was a statement.
And to really put that number into perspective, this wasn't just any loss. This was India's heaviest defeat ever in a T20 World Cup. It's a historic low for a team that, just hours before, had looked completely invincible. So the question is, how did it all go so spectacularly wrong?
Okay, so here's how we're going to deconstruct this match. First, we'll dive into how India's incredible winning streak came to such a screeching halt. Then we'll zero in on the one innings that just turned this game on its head. After that, we got to talk about the catastrophic collapse of India's chase. We'll find a few silver linings, but also look at the serious consequences of this loss. And finally, we'll figure out what the high-stakes road ahead looks like for the defending champs.
Right, let's set the scene. We're in Ahmedabad, a venue that, let's be honest, holds some painful memories for Indian cricket fans, right? The same place their 50-over World Cup dream ended. The opponent is a super powerful South African side, and for India, a long, dominant run is on the line.
And you have to understand the stakes here were massive. This was India's first loss in 18 straight ICC event matches. That's a streak of dominance going all the way back. So, South Africa wins the toss, they choose to bat, but in those first few moments, it looked like India was firmly, and I mean firmly, in the driver's seat. You know, the first innings was a tale of two completely different stories. It started out as an absolute masterclass from India with the ball, but it quickly, very quickly, turned into a South African onslaught, led by one man. And look at this. India's dominance at the start was total. Jasprit Bumrah and Arshdeep Singh were just lethal, completely ripping through South Africa's top order. They sent back de Kock, Markram, Rickleton, leaving South Africa in absolute tatters at 20 for 3. At this point, you're thinking the game is all but over.
And then David Miller walks to the crease. Now, most players would try to consolidate, steady the ship. He did the exact opposite. He just launched one of the most brilliant, stunning counterattacks you will ever see, refusing to let India dictate anything.
He found a fantastic partner in Dewal Brevis, and together, the two of them just completely flipped the momentum. They put on this blistering 97-run stand. Miller was just explosive, getting to his 50 in only 26 balls, while Brevis played that crucial supporting role, really taking the game away from India's spinners.
And you can hear it straight from the man himself. Miller basically explains his mindset here. He read the situation perfectly. He knew India would try to squeeze them with their world-class spinners, so he decided, nope, I'm going to attack them. It was this incredible, calculated assault that powered South Africa all the way to a massive total of 187.
All right, so the target is set, 188. It's tough, for sure, but on a good wicket, you'd think it's very gettable for India's powerful batting lineup. Well, what unfolded next was, to put it mildly, a complete and utter disaster.
So the big question is, chasing 188 to win, where did it all fall apart? Well, the answer is simple, and it's brutal, right at the very, very beginning.
Just look at this timeline of destruction. It's unbelievable. Before the crowd had even really settled in, the top order was just gone. Ishan Kishan out for a duck in the first over. Tilak Varma follows him just 3 balls later, and before the power play was even done, Abhishek Sharma was also walking back.
This slide right here, this tells the whole story. At the end of the power play, India was absolutely reeling at 31 for 3. The foundation of the chase was shattered. The whole thing was already in deep, deep trouble.
And you don't even have to take my word for it. The Indian captain, Surya Kumar Yadav, he admitted it himself. They lost the game in those first 6 overs. That early collapse was simply too much to recover from, and the wickets just kept on tumbling.
So, when all the dust finally settled on that 76-run defeat, there were a couple of individual bright spots for sure, but the overall damage to India's campaign, it was significant.
Let's talk about the one massive silver lining. Jasprit Bumrah. The guy was simply magnificent. While everyone else was struggling, he delivered a masterclass, finishing with these incredible figures of 3 for 15, and on top of that, he became India's all-time leading wicket-taker in T20 World Cups. Pretty amazing.
On the other side, you had South Africa's pacers who used their off-pace deliveries to absolute perfection, and they just completely stifled the Indian batters. Now, why does the margin of the defeat, that 76-run number, matter so much? Well, it all comes down to something called net run rate. See, in a tight group like this, NRR can be the tiebreaker that decides who makes it to the semifinals. A 76-run loss isn't just a loss on the board. It's a massive, massive blow to India's NRR, and that puts them under some serious pressure.
So, after a humbling defeat like this one, what does the path forward actually look like for the defending champions? Well, let's just say the margin for error has completely vanished.
The path forward is brutally simple. India has to win their last 2 games, period. There's no other way around it. One more loss and their T20 World Cup title defense is almost certainly over.
So all their focus now turns to Zimbabwe. There are no second chances, there are no do-overs. This is a must-win game, plain and simple. The pressure is on.
And that really leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? This team, they're just not used to losing. So after a defeat this comprehensive, this historic, how are they going to respond? Can they shake this off and prove exactly why they are the defending champions? Well, the whole world is about to find out.